Hi, do you not know what game to play? Do you also use Discord? Seeing as I don't know your answer to either of those questions, I'm just going to keep going. In this series, I go through the games available with Discord Nitro. And if you don't know what that is, Discord Nitro is like a subscription service provided by Discord that comes with heaps of cool perks. One of which is a bunch of games. Also, I'm not sponsored by Discord, but I'd happily be at any point in time. Hit me up. And with that out of the way, let's jump into this week's game. Welcome to the first episode of Discord Nitro Reviews, or DNR for short. I was trying to think of a funny acronym, but I'm not funny or smart, so comment some for me. Anyway, this week I'll be talking about a little game titled 140, but you probably know that from the title. But yeah, I thought I'd do the games in alphabetical order, so yeah, this 140's first. I thought it seemed fair enough to start off with a bit of a rundown on the game itself. So 140 is a simplistic platform game developed by... oh fuck, give me a second. Okay, I don't know how to say his name, and rather than Google it, I'm just going to say GP. Well, GP initially released 140 on the 16th of October 2013, and it's available currently on Windows, OS X, Linux, PS4, Xbox One, and the Wii U. Also, I couldn't find why it is called 140, so let me know that as well. GP used 140 as a way to teach himself the Unity engine, and he did a much better job than I did. Here's a little side-by-side of my first creation and Jeeps. Yeah, there's a lot, I guess. 140 also has a couple awards under its belt, winning the Excellence in Audio at the 2013 Independent Games Festival Awards, as well as an honorary mention at the Technical Excellence category. Although I described it as a simplistic game, it has a lot going for it, which I'll talk about right now. 140 has a great start. No story or instruction, you learn via doing. Each element on the screen coupled with your own natural curiosity teaches you the game. Similar to the classic first level in Mario, the level design itself teaches you. At no point does 140 instruct you. By slowly ramping up and adding more mechanics like the static walls and disappearing platforms, it teaches you as you go. And I love this aspect of it. This brings us to one of the key aspects of any platformer. Good handling. You need to know exactly how your character is going to move while playing. And 140 does this really well. You control with WASD or the arrow keys, and like usual, space to jump. But it's not about the actual buttons, it's about knowing instantly how this little cube dude falls and jumps. The timing of it all, 140 does this superbly. From the moment you start playing, you know how to control the game. According to GP, the real challenge is syncing your actions to the music-controlled game elements. And guess what? The game does a fantastic job of this, most of the time. I'll talk more about that later. Although it takes patience and practice, once you get a rhythm going, it is so satisfying. But for a game centered around music, you would hope the music is, well, good, yeah? Well, it is. In fact, I would describe it as a goddamn banging soundtrack. Just watch some gameplay, get a feel for it. And you kind of can't help bobbing your head to the music as you play, and here's what that may or may not look like. Although the graphics are simple, they are beautiful. If it weren't for the synchronization with the music, it probably wouldn't be as attractive, but due to the music, it just makes everything satisfying. Like, look at that background. This is it with the game music. And then without it. It just adds so much personality. Like, look how cool it is when there's a palette soft. It's just so epic and satisfying. It's like some ASMR type shit. But I do have a favourite feature, and that is the boss fights. I don't want to show too much because it is such a short game, but this fight for instance was great. Although it did have a weird difficulty spike, they managed to keep the music related gameplay whilst changing it up, throwing some spice in, but keeping the core gameplay the same. Although they could get frustrating, once you do solve it, it just feels so good. Additionally, 140 would be a great drinking game. Rules? You die, you drink. Easy. But poor life decisions aside, every game has some downsides. Which brings us to the bad stuff. My first issue is that sometimes it just feels like the gameplay elements aren't synced to the music. making it feel more like luck at some points. Although I didn't feel this way too often, and I do have a lacking sense of rhythm, so it could just be me, which takes me to my next point. Like I said before, when you're playing well, it's satisfying as hell. As soon as you lose your rhythm though, it quickly becomes frustrating, and I found myself dying more and more due to the frustration. Which is why for me at least, this game is best played in short. Which is great, if there was a pause or a save and quit type of thing, but there is neither. To leave the game, you simply hold escape, which is a cool concept and all, but with a lack of saving on menus in general, it can add to the frustration even further. Another example would be if you get to the end of a level and have to leave, or your game crashes, you've got to redo that whole level. This point may be nitpicky, but it's related, and it annoyed me, so it's going in. With a lack of menus to change the volume, you have to leave the game and change it manually, which to me is a pain, especially since on startup 140 is very loud. But that is about all the bad stuff I have to talk about. I forgot to mention that I think this would be a fun little Switch game. Heck, it would even port to mobile pretty well, except the lack of a bunch of pay-to-win shit. My final judgment. So as a whole, the gameplay experience is great. Once you get synced up to the actions, you're on a roll, you can't help but have some fun. Although it has a couple issues and can be frustrating at points, I would still highly recommend giving this a go, and I will be giving it a red hot 7 out of 10. Lastly, if you are planning on giving 140 a go, I would highly recommend just getting Discord Nitro, as you'll get a shitload more value. 140 costs about $7.50 Australian and Nitro is around $12. Once again, I'm not sponsored, I just think it's more cash money approach. But hey, Discord, if you want to sponsor me out, hit me up. Where was I? Alright, so if you would like to give it a go, as well as play a heap of other games, just go for the Nitro option. It's probably a lot more value for your money there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Next one will be up in the next week or two, so if you want to stay tuned, you can hit the old subscribe button, turn on notifications. You can also follow me on Twitch or Twitter, as well as join the new Discord. All the links are in the description. Okay, bye.